Hello everyone, today we've got a teardown of the XL Clown gearbox. By teardown I mean just opening it, having a look, maybe experimenting with it a bit, that's it. But yeah, I've got a teardown of the XL Clown gearbox. It's not broken or anything, I just want to see. So, yeah, let's get started. Oh, quick announcement, daily videos have stopped because I've gone back to school. I had my first day today and gosh, I need lots of motivations to get up and do this after a long day. And I get home at 6 now instead of 5, so that does make things a little bit more difficult for me to do with that time schedule. And especially now I'm approaching my last year of all GCSEs, so things are about to start getting quite hectic. So videos are going to be slowing down in the coming years, and then they'll probably bounce back. But so this will probably be my last year of persistent posting. And yeah, there's the XL Cloud. Tear down. So I believe the gearbox is here, just under here. Like it could be a belt, I'm not sure, but it'll be. You might have thought the gearbox was here for some people that aren't so familiar with these types of props, but this is actually where the rack and pinion is stored, which rolls down, gets caught on something, which then pushes down the other upper half, which is quite clever, because it means I don't have to have one big rack like the XL Reaper does. I mean, no, not XL Reaper, what am I saying? The Rise Up Reaper does. So yeah, still not a fan of the control box being held on with a string. That's really not good. Anyway, that's enough talking, let's get it open. So there's 4 screws here. I'm not really too sure why they needed 4. I'm sure 3 would have just been fine like that, but it's always good to have another screw anyway. Keeps it nice and secure. And we can also see how weatherproof this would be if it was to get wet. Obviously, when I did that water test, people thought that this whole inside box would be completely soaked. It really wasn't. The clothing absorbed all the water, which kind of makes me think I want to do another test. Oh, shaft has come out. Let's make sure that nothing progresses there. Oh my gosh, it's quite a strange layout of gears here. I wouldn't have expected this. So, it looks like the belt is just uncovered, it's just here. How strange, it has not even got a traditional shaft piece either. How incredibly bizarre. So, the motor looks entirely covered, which just means that part is technically waterproof. And then there's another cap on the back side here, if you can see, which covers the rear end of the motor. So this motor is basically completely secure. And if you add to the fact it's got this casing on top of it, it's not even like it's really unlikely, and if it does, there'll be little to none that slips through the gap there. So now, literally the only concern with weatherproofing is maybe a screw getting a little bit rusted, or the limit switch up there. And the limit switches are cheap, you can repair them easy. Like, you just search up limit switch 3D printer and you'll get identical ones to this, because I've got loads of these on my 3D printers. So yeah, so this thing I'd say is waterproof. I'd give that seal of approval. And to add to that, this thing has an IP44 rating, which means it can be used outside. And then obviously this whole thing is sealed shut. And so is the battery compartment, it has a full seal. And this is of course covered. So yeah, I'd trust this in the rain. So if it does rain on Halloween night, then I'll just leave them out along with the Rise Up Reaper, because they're both waterproof, which is excellent. I love to see that on big props like this, where it's not easy to lug it indoors, and especially the fact it's 9 feet at full height. That's something you kind of expect from a prop that big. So, let's just remove the belt. Oh, the shaft piece has come off. Yeah, that's what you can see, the shaft piece. That's actually pretty clever there. You can see it slipped in the rack, we'll get that out in a minute. But you can see that the shaft piece, or, yeah. No, wait, what? The motor shaft. The small gear shaft piece, there we go, has actually got the gear injection molded attached to it, so that's a pretty good cost cutting measure. That and not having a cover for it. As you can see, that literally just slots in there. And there's nothing holding it in place, because it's it doesn't need to be held in place at all, because, you know, the pulley just pulls it along and it doesn't need to be attached that hard, whereas this one does. And I suppose that saves on glue or whatever. It means they don't have to worry too hard about the measurements there. So obviously when you spin this, it very slowly spins the gear over there, which what I could do, but I'm not going to, I don't want to go in that deep and ruin this thing, is I could remove all the gears here, pull that up, unscrew these, and then that would lead me to the final big piece, which would probably just be a big square shaft that just is somewhere in the middle here and just rolls up and down on the rack and pinion. So there's not really too much to see here. So as you can see, it spins and we're not really getting much movement from the rack here. Yeah, you can see it move like a tiny bit. Yeah, you go. You can look at the very bottom one. You can see it's moving. So it's got quite a big gear ratio here. Then obviously I can spin that one and it'll get even faster motion from that. Extending. Where did I put the belt? Yeah, so when you press that, it would start rising up. Like so. Let's just make it retract for simplicity's sake. Yeah, I don't want it to retract all the way because then it would be pretty hard to put back together. And we'll just let that run for a minute. One thing you should never do with these is do this and I'll just let it run at least several times in a row because that's going to fry it on the board. Anyway, that's all I have to say for this. I'll see you later in the next one, which will probably be in a few days' time.